Welcome to Coffee Talk. In this episode, we sat down with Pastor Colby Sutter, a dear friend of Pastor John's, to talk about how the global church can be more united and how to minister to people from other faiths.
Personal ministry question, but I think everyone can relate to it. So I do a lot of preaching and ministry, and you do as well. And I say that I think everyone can relate to it because everyone does some sort of ministry if you're a Christian. You're witnessing. So how do you? I love people, and I love helping people. I think it's part of a calling of a pastor. I have an empathy and a heart towards people. So how do you personally set up boundaries in your life between always wanting to help people, always pouring yourself into people? My heart breaks when people come to me with problems, but also setting a boundary of personal time. Because I know for my own, this is, like I said, a selfish question. I know for my personal time, at times, I get just so worn out and so stressed because I'm giving, and then my family gets the neglect of it because I'm just worn out, tired. How do you set boundaries in your own personal life?
First of all, I would say that I struggle with this all the time. So I'm not going to stay as an expert. I do know that boundaries are essential. Paul struggled with it. Paul went through a list of his sufferings in several places in the New Testament. It almost sounded like he was complaining, but he was just being honest. And then at one point he said, and besides all of this, what comes upon me daily, the care of the churches, the heaviness, the weight of the churches, and the burden of the believers, what people are struggling with and going through, you feel it. If you are at all empathetic, you feel it. And today, people have so many ways to access you, right?
Yep.
And we have so many ways to become aware of what people are dealing with and struggling with. So it's very hard to. It's hard not to feel broken.
Yeah.
Right. About people's struggles, their pain, their failures, but you have to have boundaries, or you will die. The only person that can handle the full weight of knowledge of everybody's pain and sin and brokenness is Jesus. That's it. And he knows everything about everybody and doesn't tell anybody.
Okay. Yep.
And he also carries those burdens. So we're invited as ministers and as fellow Christians to bear one another's burdens, right? And fulfill the law of Christ. So we're helping each other bear the burdens, but we also can't take the place of Jesus. Because Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, for I am gentle and meek of heart, and you will find rest for your souls." So there is a place that only Jesus can carry the real heavy burdens of our hearts. But we come alongside Jesus as co-laborers. And we have to remember this. You know, when we hear when people are sharing their pain, when people are struggling, when people have failed, what we need to be is the grace of God, the truth of God, and we have to realize God cares more about that person than we do. He loves that person that's struggling, that's hurting more than we do. And our job is to simply point them in the direction that we can. We can't do everything. And there's people today that demand that you know, I had this issue, why didn't you? A lot of people have expectations, right? That you're going to remember their birthdays, their anniversaries, you're going to call them, and as a minister, you need to be sensitive to the needs of people, but you can't possibly meet everybody's needs. So I think you have to be okay with knowing that you have limitations.
Okay.
I think you also have to set boundaries in your life. You've got to have a Sabbath day, which I've talked to you about.
Many times.
Many times. How you doing with that?
I'm getting better. I'm getting.
That's like, are you tithing or not tithing?
Yeah,
I tithe sometimes. You either tithe or you don't, right? Yep. You either keep the Sabbath or you don't.
Yep.
So 24 hours off.
Okay, I'm getting there. I think you've given me the best piece of advice too. In that same conversation we've had multiple times about keeping your Sabbath is, you once asked me, and I think this will just help everyone watching too. You once asked me, who are you working so hard to impress? Let that just sink in for a minute. You were literally that hit me because I was like, oh my goodness, yeah. Am I trying to impress God? Am I trying to impress my wife? Am I trying to impress myself? Am I trying to impress other people? Why am I working so hard all the time without taking a Sabbath? Who am I trying to impress? So that was just a great piece of advice. And my Sabbath has gotten better. It's tough with the texting because everyone is always in emergency mode, and texting is right at your fingertips.
So you got to take a text break. You got to put the phone down. There's actually ways you can set your notifications, like your driving notifications up that says, I'm not available right now.
Okay.
But if you don't, you have to maintain those boundaries for your own health,
Yep.
right? Man was not made for the Sabbath, but Sabbath was made for man, for humanity. It's for us. And God knows what we need, and he says you got to take a break every 7 days for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I think, too, you got to sleep. You got to turn it off at night, and you got to sleep. And I've not always been good with that, but the Lord's really dealt with me. And so at night, I got to get my 7 hours or so of sleep. And if I sometimes go 4 hours or 5 hours, I feel it.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to you've got to realize you can't do it all. Do what you can. Do it with the best heart you can.
Okay.
And realize that Paul said in Galatians, if I sought to please men, I would not be a servant of Christ.
So
You
good.
can either please Jesus or try to please everybody.
It's good.
And you're never going to please anybody if you try to please everybody.
Yeah.
So please Jesus, love people. They're going to give you some crap. They're going to be mad. They're going to have feelings. It's not, but keep that. Don't take all of a person's projection.
Okay.
Remember, you got to keep those. It's called differentiation.
Differentiation.
This is about you. I can be empathetic about it, but I'm not. I'm going to help you carry it, but I'm not going to personally take it in a way that's going to be destructive to me and not helpful for you in the long run.
Okay.